Hi there. Good afternoon. I'm Raleigh Brown, and this is another Curve Flattening concert, number 702. And I see Keith Shaw is here, Rhonda Scott Merrick, Debbie Moore, Johnson Hogg over there in a free country, and Donna Greenberg, and Mike Schnabel, and Deb Leiby Clark, and Lori Payne, and Dave Mason, Cliff Brown up there in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Hi to all you guys. It's good to see you here on this rather chilly day in southeast Pennsylvania. So we had about 3.5 inches of snow maybe 4 days ago, and it has sublimated down to maybe 2 inches, but it's still on the ground because the temperatures have been really cold. It was -3 here this morning, and it's only going up into the teens at the best. So it's cold weather here. I'm sure it's cold for a lot of you because I've seen other people's posts. So hopefully we can forget about the cold for a couple minutes, have some warm coffee. We could clink. There we go. Here's to you all. And I see John Ferrulo is here, and Helene Tober Fowler, Charlie Bryant, Rita Rubin, Kathy Marzik, Jeff Blumenthal, Terry St. James, Charlotte Cantrell. Hi, Charlotte. Charlotte's in Southern California, but she didn't have too much damage or anything. She's still okay. Jay Peterson, I think David Arthur Radcliffe's over in the UK. And Charlie Bryan says it's 20 in Rockville. I think it's more like 15 here, Charlie. And like that, Audrey Bernheimer's here. Let your water drip to keep the pipes from freezing, she says. John Sprouse and Bruce McNeil is here on YouTube. And he says, just came in from the cold, not too bad. Yeah, I took Charlie out, Rick and Maxie, and Charlie and I went on the path that, there's one path that they kind of come through the park with a bobcat and clear it. So there's actually asphalt. When the sun shines on the asphalt, then the dogs can walk on it without having to lift their paws up because they're so cold. But I digress. Anyhow, do I have a Charlie picture today? I don't think I took a new Charlie picture. But because today is devoted to Suki the dog, and that's because today would have been Suki's 13th adoptiversary. I had Suki for 9 years. I adopted her when she was 4, and she lived to be 13, and had acute pancreatitis and just couldn't recover from it. It was a very heartbreaking thing. I see Robin Gray is here, Sharon March, Bunny is here, Bunny Barnes. So anyhow, I will show you a couple pictures from the. Let me just adjust something here. So first of all, when I first saw Suki online, the picture I saw was this, and that's Suki with her fairy dog mother, Emmylou Harris, who rescued Suki, and she has a rescue called Bonaparte's Retreat. If you ever want to drop a little money for a really great rescue thing, look them up on the web. Emmylou is a saint, and also a great singer, as you all know. And I saw this picture of Suki, and they had advertised her as being half Kelpie and half cattle dog. And so I was interested because we had lost a Kelpie a few months before. And so, long story short, Jim Moran is here. He was there for this whole thing. I went down to Nashville and stayed at Jim's house, and we went over to Centennial Park the next morning for a dog meet and greet, which did not include Suki because she was too snarky for that. So I went back later to Emmylou's house and met Suki, and I won't dwell on it, but we had a long introduction, and finally they decided to let me take her, which they had never done. They'd never let a dog outside of the Nashville area before. But I promised that if it didn't work out, I would drive her back to Nashville and give her back to them. But it worked out. Anyhow, here is the first song of today. Here's my favorite Suki portrait. Let me get rid of this and pop that up there. And that's the one that really shows what a sweetheart she became in her later years. And but she was also, this song is called The Dark Princess. She was a little huntress. And this is Suki in hot pursuit of a squirrel. I have video of this too, but I'm not sure if it would show up if I videoed it here. Anyhow, that was Suki at the park, my girl. And so I wrote this instrumental called The Dark Princess for Suki. The Dark Princess, my little girl. And I was thinking, part of me wanted to say, oh, if Suki and Charlie ever met, that would be really great, but I know that they would try to tear each other's throats out. So it's good that they did not occur in the same time frame. I don't know where Charlie is right now. He might be in the bedroom. Oh no, he's under the window where he cannot be seen. So that's The Dark Princess. Next up is a song that I wrote. I'm not sure. I think I wrote it while Suki was still with us. Anyhow, it's called Words of Wisdom. It starts with a look, meeting eye to eye. Make her glad to see you. Let her know you're her guy. It's important to give at least as much as you get. Don't expect her to love you if you haven't earned it yet. Give her something to chew on. Let her know that you'll play. If you have the right timing, she won't wander away. Don't try to control her. She'll rebel in the end. Make your dog wanna please you. That's how she'll become your best friend. Now if she seems to defy you, you better step up your game. Throw away those dry milk bones. Roast chicken might just light her flame. Reward her for sit, stay, heel, till it's all humdrum. But you'll know that you've won her heart when you get her to come. Now I know what you're thinking. Would this work with romance? If you're tender and caring, you just might have a chance. It starts with a look, a sensitive dialogue. To improve your love life, treat your sweetheart like you treat your dog. Words of wisdom. And actually, that song was kind of based on a little bit on the work of Karen Pryor. Karen Pryor wrote a book called "Don't Shoot the Dog," which was not really about dogs per se, but it was about about the idea of behavioral dog training, of rewarding behaviors that you would like to see repeated, and ignoring or not rewarding behaviors that you don't want to see repeated. So, and then in the book, she talks about she worked training marine mammals, giant walruses and stuff like that, whales, for SeaWorld and stuff like that early on. And she then realized that the work she did with those animals, which you could not boss around. You can't do much with a whale, you had to get it to want to please you. So she then realized that applied to all mammals, and she started treating dogs and other animals as well. And in her book, then she also says, this also works on humans, that instead of berating people who don't do well, reward them for things that are good, things that they think for when they please you. And her thing was kind of, just don't tell your husband this is what you're doing, but just follow this plan and everybody will get along better. So that kind of led to this song. Anyhow, it's announcement time. There are invisibles who might be here. One of them might be Mario Pru, who built this gorgeous guitar, which I'll talk about in a minute. And it could be Judith Fox. It could be Joel Biget. It could be George Young of Winter Garden, Florida. George is actually the most regular attendee of the Invisibles these days. So hats off to you, George, and I hope you're doing well. And there is a PayPal link there, as always, if you'd like to contribute a little something, help pay the heating bills around here, and get more dog treats for the dog. And there is, we're still talking about, Ann and I have to discuss this idea of doing a guitar workshop at her house sometime later in the winter or early in the spring. And I'll get back to you when we figure that out. And then I've already talked to you about the weather and about Suki. This guitar is the Mario Pru RBL00, and I haven't talked to Mario recently. I see his posts on Facebook, and we just haven't been staying in touch that well. But he was having some health issues, and I do not know if he's building guitars at this point, which is, of course, a real shame, because he makes such wonderful instruments. But my hat is always off to him for building this guitar for me and the other guitars of his that I've owned and many of which I've played. So there's that. The schedule. The schedule is I am on right now, and on Thursday I didn't see anything for Helen Avakian and David Irwin, but that doesn't mean they won't be doing a concert. On Friday, Slim will be doing a show. I think he's doing the Beatles at 3:30, and Bunny is doing her threefer at 4 o'clock. On Saturday, Warren is doing his show at 3 p.m., Warren Bendler. So that's Steve Edelman, who we know as Slim, if you want to go to his page. Steve Edelman, Bunny Barnes, and Warren Bendler. And I just, when I looked on his page to see who he was playing, he's playing something by me. So make sure you go listen. Maybe I'll listen too. And then, so that's Saturday at 3, and then Sunday I will be back at 10:30, just like I usually am on Sundays. And soon after that, the Eagles will put it all on the line, and we'll see whether they've got what it takes to defeat Jaden Daniels and the Commanders, who on Philly sports radio they call them the Commodores or the Commandors or whatever. Oh God. Anyhow, so next up, this is an instrumental I wrote for Suki early on when we got her, and it's called Suki's Hope, because we had great hopes that Suki would eventually become a good dog. So for the first 2.5 years, we couldn't let anybody in our house because Suki wouldn't let them in. And it took us a long time. We finally got her to soften up. And then there's a lot, if you look, I put a post on the page with about 30 pictures today, and there are pictures of her having her belly rubbed by our friend Catherine Jacobs of Vintage Instruments, and there's pictures of her smooching Marcy Marxer, and she was a great dog in the end, but at first it was just our hope that she'd become a good dog. So this is called Suki's Hope. Suki's Hope, basically a kind of nouveau jazz standard. And I see Mel Rivera is here. I haven't been saying hi. Let me backpedal here. Mel Rivera, Michael Miller. I'm Linda Worster. I said hi to Jim Moran. Lori Payne. If I repeat myself, that's just the way I am. It's my disease. Margot Lemieux. Margot, I meant to thank you for the great little... Margot, the last few years, has sent me a Christmas card that is a calendar with one of her wonderful paintings on it. And I don't know if she sells those, but you might talk to her. And I think I said hi to Denny Oliver. It's good to see you here, buddy. I know, you know that I know that we know. And Ginger Hopper. Hi, Ginger. And who else am I missing? Ann Caston, my first guitar student ever. Glad to have you here, Ann. And Jack Haas. And I missed a lot of people because I was busy blabbing about Suki the dog. So if I'm almost back to the beginning now. So I think I said hi to everybody I could say hi to. Robin Gray, did I say hi to you? Okay, so now I'm all the way back at the end again, and I have one more song for you, and this song is the quintessential Suki song. It's, I don't know, let me pull her picture up here. I wish you guys, when I pull a picture up here, I don't think you can see my my cursor for me to point at it, but if you look at her left ear, it's hard to see because it's kind of folds in, but there's a place where her left ear is ripped, and you can just kind of see it on the inside border as you look up directly above her left eye. And that's the ear that is tattered, and you can't see it, but underneath her jaw there's a little scar there, and those show up in the song. Just saying. So, for Suki. I mostly travel solo. It's a burden I bear. Out alone on the highway, just trying to get somewhere. My wife would like to come with me, but we just talk on the phone. We never travel together, 'cause we can't leave the dog alone. She loves to go on vacation. That's my wife, not the dog. Up the coast to New England, living high on the hog. Well, I could kill for some lobster. My friends think I'm insane, 'cause it's home in the backyard where me and the dog remain. She came with some issues. That's the dog, not my wife. She took a bullet in her young years. She was cut with a knife. They couldn't break her spirit, so they called her a cur. 'Cause when someone got bloody, she made sure it was them, not her. So they gave up on her, left her tied to a tree where two honky-tonk angels picked her up and brought her to me, where she checked me over. I guess she thought I would do, and I made her a promise. From then on, her hard times were through. She's got one ear that's tattered. There's a scar on her jaw, and it's best not to cross her, or she'll lay down the law. She's the perfect companion for an old dog like me, and I try to live up to the man she hoped I might be. She's a perfect companion for an old dog like me. Two old dogs. And, you know, pretty much that song would be kind of true-ish if I just changed the gender for Charlie. But Charlie was not mistreated in the way that Suki obviously was. Charlie was just mishandled. You know, they just didn't know what to do with him. And I don't blame him, knowing what a nutcase he is. Anyhow, I thank you all for joining me here today. One thing I want to mention, I put up a video on my page, shared it, a video of an interview with Bob Dylan from 1986. Now, I'm not like a super Bob Dylan worshiper or anything. I mean, I think he's an amazing artist. But for all the time that he has not spoken frankly to the public, and he's earned a lot of enemies, a lot of the people who write about him obviously have a chip on their shoulder because he didn't talk to them. This one video from 1986, it seems to me he's being as totally honest and real as he could be. And I put it up there, and like nobody commented on it hardly. You know, my friend Ruth commented that she was listening to one of my CDs, and a couple of people liked it, you know, to 4 people, I think. But go back there, if you have a half hour, go watch it if you like Dylan, and really get an idea of 40 years ago of who he was and why some of the things that people didn't like about him were necessary for him to do. You know, it's a really, really great video. Anyhow, that's all I have to say about that, and I will sing you a short little mantra here, and I'll see if I can get to the park by the time my buddy Rick does. More than ever, be happy and be healthy, be brave and be calm, be kind, it's a snap, and if you get cranky, take a nap. Remember, you know, we're only here for a little while, so balance your desire to do good for your ability to enjoy your life. Hope to see you on Sunday. Listen to some good music between now and then. Much love. Bye-bye.